Hey guys, how are you? Broadcasting live again on this YouTube channel every night. I go live, um, and I read every comment. You can come in real time and talk to me, have a conversation. You do that by subscribing to the channel. Click subscribe and the bell notification. I make also a variety of videos about my life, about living in a car. I live a simplistic, downsized life. I talk about things I've been through in life, whether it's relationships, whether it's minimalism, whether it's politics, whether it's, whatever. All those things are life. A lot of times I know people say, don't talk politics or religion. I talk about them because they're part of life, but they're not my whole life. They're not my whole life. I live a well-rounded life. I try to. I'm not perfect, but I try to. And I try to seize the moment. I try to enjoy the day. I try to make the most of my life. I try to make my life progressively better over time. And I engage in issues, sometimes very deep, but I don't let them consume me. I try not to let anything consume me. I try to be present in a moment, and I try to laugh. I try to smile, and I also cry, and I also express when I'm sad. I try to be well balanced. I found that is the key. And the other thing I've learned, and I have to remind myself, I reminded myself before I went live tonight. I said, Sam, don't try to outdo yourself. When you start to do good at your job, or when you're on a good running, just a good winning streak and people are looking up to you, there's a temptation to try to outdo yourself because you feel expectation. When you feel that expectation, you step back and you be yourself. And you have to take the pressure off yourself. Be yourself. And you will always be what you're meant to be, wherever the chips land. But don't try to be someone you're not just to meet that expectation. Many times relationships end because expectations are not met. But you can't live a life trying to be what others expect you to be. Because at the end of every divorce is I lost myself. At the end of every divorce, what I found in most instances, I can't speak to everyone, is that most people say they've lost themselves. And sometimes you lose yourself because you impress someone, you made a good impression, people start to look up to you. And so now I think, what can I do that's magical? What can I do? Can I make a clickbait? Can I make a this? Can I make a that? And that's how you lose yourself. And social media is a reflection of life. So a lot of times people say, and social media is a reflection of life. So when you see channels start to grow, and some of them are mentioned here at night when we talk about different nomad channels or whoever, they start to make clickbait, or they start to make this because there's an expectation. I got to outdo myself. And that's a reflection of when you're in a relationship, when you're in a marriage, when you're working on your job. You just nailed 2 projects at your job. All right, I got to impress them with the next one. Just be yourself. Guess what? Not every day you hit a home run. So, you just breathe and you step up to the plate of life every day and you do your best. And, and that's kind of my opening thing tonight. I'm going to get to live comments first, just to acknowledge everyone, because I think that's the magical part about this. We can talk about whatever you want. But I do want to make a note, and we will talk about in the beginning here, divorce and the devastation. And devastation is the right word that divorce brings. Even good divorces. Because I know a few people that have had what they call, and shout out to Sarah, divorce done right. And there's a big social word now called co-parenting. And I can't speak to everyone's situation. I have lived through a divorce as far as my parents got divorced. And I spurred my mom to get a divorce because it was becoming very unhealthy. I'm the youngest of 3 children. And what I can tell you is everyone in the household will handle divorce differently. Just like in life, everyone handles life differently. There is a Cain and there is an Abel. And it doesn't necessarily mean that there has to be a good person and a bad person. But one of the lessons that I actually get from Cain and Abel, which is a biblical story about two brothers that were brought up in the same house, but one got jealous and killed the other, is just that two siblings, two people can be brought up in the same house with the same parents, go to the same school system, but look at life and make different life decisions. You may have one child that you never have to really tell them what to do. They're just, they've always kind of been hardwired as, being pretty good. And the other one's just a problem child. So what I've learned in my experience, I can't speak to everyone's experience. My job is to be myself. My experience is I've lived through divorce as far as when I grew up. And I think overall, it was a good thing. A good thing. Because it got to the point where my father was smashing dishes at the dinner room table. My father is very particular, OCD. He likes things in order. Very into fitness. My mom, very much sloppy. Very much into just eating food and being more relaxed. So I think the main core issue behind the divorce was that these were two different people with two different outlooks on life. The mindset towards life was completely different. Do I believe opposites attract? In my opinion, I believe they may attract, but I don't believe they sustain a long-term relationship. My opinion. Why? Because I think that you can be opposites in some way. But I think overall, you have to have a similar foundation as far as how you look at life and how you, move. I don't believe you can be radically into fitness and keeping your house clean and your wife be a slob and be a little bit of a foodie and that sustain itself. Can it last? Can you have two kids? Can you live in the same household for 10 years and put up with it? Yeah, until, she can't, stop eating pasta and she's getting really out of shape and you're getting frustrated because, you come home from work and you're thinking she's going to get in shape. You're trying to push her to get in shape, but she's not. She wants to let the kids watch TV. You don't want the kids to watch TV. You want them at the kitchen table. There's a different way you look at life. And there's discord. There's devastation. There's a shock and there's complete trauma. And there's several layers of divorce. One is, at this point in society, we do have outdated laws. I believe in that. Divorce and how it was structured in the past, I talked a little bit about this last night, in society in previous generations, was structured because women didn't have equal rights in the workforce and they weren't able to really earn a living. So a lot of times people would get married, they would have kids, and then if the husband decided to leave because Stormy Daniels comes along, the wife just can't be left destitute because then that's not healthy for society and that's just horrible. So there was a liability there because the wife couldn't just go out to the workforce, and there's many reasons behind that. But now women, rightfully so and thankfully so, have gained a level of equality. So a lot of times now women get divorced maybe half-half. But I truly believe that marriage should be left in your spiritual life as far as church. The financial commitment should be based around having children and supporting them. And then, but I don't want to get lost in the woods on that. But I do want to acknowledge that I see in today's society that there needs to be an update in laws because society has changed. And a part of the healing process, because there's a couple layers of divorce. The first layer is after you go to marriage counseling. Again, I'm speaking from the perspective of a child who brought up in a divorced household. I'm not speaking from a perspective of a man who got a divorce with a woman. I'm adding my perspective. Do I have every perspective? No. But I have a right to share my story on how I see it and how I grew up. You may have a different one. So I'm not, again, so put me in context, but I'm sharing me. So, my parents, or let's just say a couple may go to counseling. They may try to go on date night. They may try to relive the flame. but they're two different people. And date night cannot make them be the same people. And people change. There's friends I grew up with, we're not the same people. There's still love, but we don't hang out anymore. Best friends become strangers. So we're in a constant state in life of constantly growing and changing who we are. So just because like you know someone today, they're not going to be the same 10 years from now. They're not. You're not. And it's very hard to keep people together, even good people, well-intentioned, even people with the same outlook on life. Hard to keep them together. It's a miracle almost. But eventually there comes to a point of acceptance that we can't find harmony. I think initially there's denial. There's different things that may be tried, whether, again, it was date night or whether it was like, all right, we're going to try, like, some nights we'll sit at the dinner room table. Some night we'll do this. Some nights we'll do that. But it's just, you could feel the tension, the energy wasn't right. So that you finally accept that, look, we're just two different people. We have to go our separate ways. You accept it. There's an initial relief, but then there's devastation when it comes to the finality. When things start to get moved out of the house and you realize this is about to happen, and there's going to be consequences, both financial and emotional. The devastation is financial and emotional. This is what I saw. And there's a huge adjustment for the whole family structure. And like I said, my mom was only able to get a divorce, I think, because she knew that she had a little bit of an inheritance left to her, and that would keep us out of poverty because she worked a night shift at ShopRite. After my parents got divorced, and I remember I was part of the court system a little bit, but not much. I remember, through secondhand, the judge basically told my mom, look, you're going to get some support, but you got to go to work. And my mom, I give her credit, she was always a worker. So she worked at ShopRite, which is a supermarket in the Northeast. And she sung at church on the weekend. She did the different side hustles. And my father played his part. He paid child support and different things. And he came to see us, and we came to see him on Sundays. But there was just a huge level of tension because there's devastation. And, it's like after, I don't want to make the parable of 9/11, but I want to make the parable of when you go through like a thing like that, where there's complete devastation, when like a building collapse, whether it's like the World Trade and again, or your marriage or your family, there's like, society will never be the same again. Like most people that lived through 9/11, what they tell you is, we know that society is never going to be the same again. Once the divorce is final and you start to do visitation and you start to pay the child, like your life will never be the same again. Time is like a river. You can never touch the same spot twice, but that is magnified when you go through a huge, shocking, devastating life change. And there takes a lot of period of healing. And what I can tell you is, because I don't want to stretch this out, is we all handled it differently. My two sisters handled it their own way. I handled it my way. Definitely in our adolescence, none of us really wanted much to do with our father for a variety of reasons. Some justified and some just part of the way it was. As I got older, me and even my siblings, we tried to form relationships with our father. And again, he did the best he could. But to be honest with you, I think my mom had too many children with him. I think, my opinion, my mom knew what type of man he was. She knew he couldn't handle having more than one or two kids. And even a third kid, even me, like technically I was supposed to be an abortion. But I understand, because my father, he can only take so much pressure. That's why his OCD. That's why everything in the household has to be particular, because if something's out of order, if there's too much stress, he loses it. And my mom knew that. But also, to be fair, it takes two to tango. My father had unprotected sex. So I can say that my mother played a little bit of the game because she knew what type of man my father was, but I could also say my father played the same game with her because he had unprotected sex, and after one child, he should have knew better. if you're bitching about child support, if you're bitching about you got too much stress, why did you continue to have unprotected sex? It takes two to tango. You want to know what divorce is? You want to start to heal? It takes two to tango. You knew you married a girl that had leopard skin, accessories. You knew she was a little wild. You knew she was a little sloppy. And you married a man that you knew he couldn't take too much pressure. And it took two to tango. And accepting that and letting go of that. And then saying, where do we go from here? Well, now we all have to form our own relationships based on what we want in our life. And as adolescents, as children, you're not formed mentally. So, parents, whether it's a mother or father, your parent, if you get divorced and your children don't want to speak to you when they're young, let them do that. They have that right because they're young and they're already trying to figure out life. They will come back to you if you don't pressure them. Most divorce ends when you try to pressure someone to be someone they're not. You have to accept people for who they are. If your kids aren't ready to talk to you, let them be. And they will come back to you if they want. Maybe they won't. That's their choice. But I do remember and I do acknowledge my father always trying to do what he could based on the best he could at this point, being 38 and looking back in a matured state. And I see the same thing with my mother. I tend to lean towards my mother's side because one is she's just more compassionate and more empathetic. And yes, and I always say, look, what I'd rather hang out with is somebody who's a little bit more sloppy, a little bit more lean, if they're a little bit more compassionate. I don't want to be by a drill sergeant. I don't want to be I understand that OCD and particularness and being a little bit firm and all that. I understand that sometimes needed, and I understand they don't mean much harm by it, but I don't want to be by negative energy. It's negative tension. I don't want to be by tension. I want to be by relaxation. But also, when I had to get my health together, I had to tell my mom, look, I can't be laxed anymore like you with your food habits. And I got in a huge argument with my mom. And I said, you have to accept me now for who I am. I'm changing and I have to be a little bit more disciplined. I have to be a little bit more firm in my mind. You can't just keep feeding me pasta and think that I have to eat this because I ate this as a child. So part of healing from the devastation is everyone now has to start to work on themselves and define themselves and give the space that's needed. Space. You can't force family. You can't force family. Blood is not thicker than water. Blood is DNA. Blood is unprotected sex. You can bang a prostitute and have a baby. What does that mean? Bottom line is, as I got older and I tried to form a relationship with my father, and again, he did some good things for me, and I'm thankful for that. We just eventually got to the point where I thought we had let everything go from the past, but he always is going to be who he is. And I'm okay with that, but he would force his hypertension. If something was off his routine, he would express his anger towards me, even if it wasn't directed at me. And that's too much for me to handle. I don't deserve that. I don't need that. And my mother had to come to give me the space that, look, sometimes I have to be intense, but you got to let me be. My mother gave me the space even now. Like living in Florida and doing my thing. My mom says, Sam, you got the freedom. I got the freedom. We both love each other. We don't have to prove it by, if you want to come for Christmas, fine. But if you don't, and it's not a guilt trip. It's true. Like my father was like, you got to call me every week. I don't need that. But he needed a routine. He needed every week somebody's got to check in on him. Just like I think after a couple kids, he needed the attention on himself. And when a woman has kids, she's going to put a little bit more attention into her children. You have to accept that. Divorce can be devastating, but what I'm here to tell you as a child who's lived through it, it's needed and it's healthy. And we're going to, as society, have to look at marriage differently through the laws and everything else. But I do think you're better to be single. But I want to say this too, and then we'll go into all live comments, is if you get divorced once, just like if you have a child once, now my father got remarried, my mother never got remarried. Do you want to do it again? A lot of people do it again and again, and then don't cry wolf. Now, sometimes I've made the same mistake again and again, but ultimately, you got to look in the mirror. Because if you know the devastation of divorce and you try to re-engage in that type of commitment, things change after you get divorced because people change. You're not going to marry the same person. You're going to marry someone. They're going to be different in 10 years. So are you. Can you accept that they may be too different than you? Definitely after a few kids, everyone's going to be different. Life's going to be different. And I think the person who can't adapt, in my opinion now, it's my opinion, I don't think they should be in marriage or have children. Because life is constant change. So some people cannot get out of their routine. If they get out of their routine, holy anxiety ball. Here comes holy anxiety. And so that type of person, what they need to do is spend most of the time by themselves, and they need a strict, rigid routine. And when you have kids, and when you grow old together, there is a lot of variable. There is a lot of change. There is a lot of adaptation. And I think that if you don't want something, you're going to resent having to change when that's not what you want. And so I try to just share my experience on divorce. I recognize that it's devastating, but I also want to say that it's healthy when necessary. Take accountability, let go, and then just work on yourself and give people space to heal. Just like every friendship, every relationship, maybe they come back, maybe they won't, but you got to move on. And I know there's a lot of people that come on this channel that may even start to live in their cars because they've been devastated both emotionally and financially through divorce. Will life get better? Yes. When? It'll take you 3 months of basically no contact or limited contact for you to get your wind back under you. And it'll take you 3 years to start to really move in a healthier direction with your life. 3 months and 3 years. 3 months to get your feet back under you. 3 years to start to fully feel joy again. That's right, that long. That's my opinion. But you will. How do you move forward? Just the final thing, and we'll go all live comments. How do you move forward in life when you're totally devastated? One foot in front of the other. One day at a time. That's it. All right, now Trenta ice water and comment time. Good job. Snoop, Snow Dog. What's up, Snow Dog? New Jersey in the house. My neck of the woods. Yeah, I know. I was thinking about you. I think about you because I know you just got through a divorce. You're going through a divorce. I think about you. I think about my viewers. And sometimes, I think, well, should I make a clickbait thing or should I make this? And I said, Sam, you can't do that. You have to either make videos based on what you're going through or what you feel other people are going through and how you relate to that. And what I have felt through the past several weeks of doing these live feeds, that there's been a recent wave of people speaking of divorce. And so I want to address that because I hear you and I feel your pain and you're not invisible. And I've been through it in my own way, which I've just explained. I cannot speak to everybody's way because I haven't been through everyone's life. But I step back. I said, Sam, you don't have to be through. All you have to do in life when you're in doubt is just be yourself. And this is who I am. This is my story. Maybe you can relate somewhat. Maybe you cannot relate, but you can take a piece of it. You can put your own twist on it, and then you can be yourself. And that's how you heal in a good, safe place. Love, respect. Good to see you, brother. Scott B-Man. Hey, been there, done that. Yeah. I mean, well, and you can speak to it, Scott. Let me ask you this, Scott. Snow Dog just went through a divorce. You have been there, done that. So it sounds like you have healed. Scott, in your experience, how long did it take before you healed? And what would be any advice you can give to Snow Dog or someone just going through a divorce? DTN, professional window cleaner. Sam, what's going on? Hope all is well, brother. Love to you, man. You were the first one I know that showed support on a super chat. But more than that, you were here way before that. And again, I'm praying for you with that hospital job. And I'm also praying for you that you don't give up on window cleaning. And I'm also praying for you when I think about you, because I know how kind you were to me, and I know you didn't have to, and I know you got your own issues going on. I pray for you when I think about you. I think, God, don't let him allow people to abuse his kindness, because I know you're a kind man. Well, but I know you probably still got a temper. I don't put you on a pedestal. I know people that can act very sweet. They can be very sour. So I'm not you can never come to me and say, look, Sam, did you know this guy lost his lid and he totally, no, I would believe it. I never would get to a point in life where I would put something past someone. So you may have a terrible temper. I don't know. But what I do know is I pray for you that you don't let people abuse your kindness, but that also you stay kind. I want you to continue to search for that balance. Because yes, people will abuse your kindness. You got to be firm sometimes, but you can never lose empathy and compassion or else you lose yourself. That's my experience. Good job, Tom. Carpe diem. Yes, I was thinking about that. Seize the day. That's what carpe diem means. Seize the day. And I thought about today when I went into Starbucks just now, about an hour ago. I went in there, and like many nights, there was no one at the register. So I was like, Sam, I should run in there now and order my drink, my coffee and my soy milk. But I said, let me go to the bathroom first. In my mind, I was thinking, well, let me go to the bathroom first and let me set up my computer. I usually like to do that, charge my electronics, do something on the computer before I go order something. But I said, Sam, seize the moment. Because what I found that is if I wait and I go in the bathroom, as soon as I come out, there'll be like 5 people in line. And that's how life is. Time is like a river. You never touch the same spot twice. So if you have an opening, if there's nobody in Starbucks at the register, go and order your drink. Then go to the bathroom and set up. If you are offered a job, but you're not fully sure, take the job and figure it out later. Seize that moment. One of my mom's biggest regrets was she was offered a higher position, but she was scared to leave the comfort of her familiar position. She didn't seize the moment, and that time window passed. Carpe diem, you live by it every day. Seize the moment. Never forget it. Good job. Tiana Marie. Hey, Tiana Marie. Good to see you. How are you? Hello, Sam. I'm all in for the divorce chat. Hope all's well. Well, thank you, Tiana Marie. Thank you for being part of this channel. I saw the comment, too, that you left on my last night's feed. Thank you, everyone, for the love and support. That meant a lot to me. And again, T, if you, I would love for you to share your experience. I mean, I can only share mine, but everyone has a little bit of the puzzle. Snow Dog, I'm okay with whatever you talk about. Well, I appreciate that. And I let my mind free flow. I structure, you have to look at life in 2 aspects, structure and free flow. Creativity, I structure it by writing down different ideas, but then I also give myself the freedom if at the last minute I want to change my mind, I change it. But I try to avoid changing it to pander to the crowd. I try to speak on something that I've been through or that I could seriously relate to, and then I just speak to it from my perspective. And I also try to speak to issues that I hear people telling me. But I don't try to think like, all right, should I do another video about how I stay cool in my car? Or should I do a video? I know, look, I know there's a market and I know how to play the game. I could easily pander and just do videos about like, I live in a car, this is how I stay cool. You know, I could do that, but that's not me. And I was almost seduced in that in the beginning of my channel, and you have to fight that. And I could get seduced into talking about politics every night, but I don't. I mean, politics, religion, I'll talk about them. They're interesting. I like to talk, but they're not I'm not consumed by any one thing. I try to be well balanced. You know, and I think that's what allows me to enjoy life the best I can. I'm not perfect. I still have sad days, but I feel overall I'm in a healthy space in life. And it took a lot of work. And through the grace of God and through a lot of work, what I realized is, try to find your balance. I think Buddha's whole principle was his road to enlightenment basically came to, look, you got to find balance in however you define it. And I feel right now, I mean, I'm kind of in a good place. And so I appreciate that. I'm just thumbs up in my own video and sharing it. If you like these videos, it's a free way to support. Just click the thumbs up, share the video. I appreciate that. It means something to me. Submarine Vet, 81. Yo, much love from Boston, man. What's the temperature in Boston right now? The temperature today in Florida, it wasn't warm. It was like probably about 75, 77 in South Florida. And then at night it gets down to the 60s. Even this morning, I think I woke up, it's like 52. But it's great sleeping weather in your car. And so I slept like a baby with a blanket over me, and got 7 hours of sleep. It was very magical. I got my bed and everything set up just perfect. And it took about 8 months to set everything up right. And then my whole situation was different when I was living in New Jersey because I had to have a lot of layers on. I had to really prepare more. But down here in Florida, especially in the winter, it's very simple because you don't need to. It's very intense in the dead of the winter living in your car in New Jersey, but it can be done. It can be done. It can be done. So don't be intimidated by it. And again, even if it gets real cold certain nights, no matter where you live, just remember that you can always get a hotel as possible or to reposition my life. And that was one of my main reasons. I felt like it was like against like the code to spend any money. I don't know why, but what I'm here to tell you is, don't get that mindset. Just adapt. Where we at? Gleno. Greetings from Fort Worth, Texas. Here we go. Another wild and crazy night. Well, maybe and maybe not. Because I have to remember to temper myself. Like last night was a magical night. But what I don't want to do is I don't want... And if you look at any divorce, what they're going to say is I lost myself. So if you look at anything in life where it ends in a letdown, let's just say that, it's going to end with you trying to be someone you're not. I mean, so like last night I was real fired up, and I'll get fired up maybe tonight, but maybe I won't. And I don't want to work myself up just to appease a crowd because that's not genuine. And so I'll just be in the moment and I'll let it free flow. Tony, what's up, Sam? How was your day? Overall, it's positive. Look, it's Monday for me, so it's back to work day. I work remotely in the IT industry. I started my career as an electrician. I gradually built my way up. 22 years basically in the same industry. Right now I'm in like IT engineering for infrastructure. You know, what's infrastructure? Electricity, HVAC, network capacity. And so like, you know, IT, information technology, servers and different things, they need power and cooling and they need network capacity. So, you know, you need to balance all those things. And so my years of becoming a journeyman electrician, becoming a master's electrician, having my own electrical contracting business, getting certain credits for electrical engineering, and then having work experience and having years in the field and gradually moving my way up, being with the same company for 10 years. And, you know, all that plays a part in gradually moving your way up. Doesn't happen overnight. And there were some painful parts of my career, and there's still painful days. You know, so I don't have a magical answer. I just, you try to show up every day. When in doubt, like I talked to somebody today, he was having a bad day. And I said, well, as bad as your day is, you know, the good part is you showed up. If I can give anyone in any profession the number one piece of advice, move your career up, is show up. And in the beginning of my career, I struggled with that a little bit because you're young and you don't really want to go. And so, but I would just say in anything in life, it's going to be a little bit of consistency. I made a YouTube video, Google it, inspirational man discouraged about YouTube. I was discouraged. I had no views, no followers. And I said in that video that I know the answer is to show up every day, be consistent, and work hard. I know eventually it'll pay off. And that's the answer to most things in life. You want to lose weight? It's not going in the gym working out like a madman. It's just going to the gym 3 to 4 days a week for an entire year. It takes 21 days for you to form a new habit. If you don't do something every day for 21 days, it's not going to become a habit. So you may start to eat healthy for 5 days a week, and then on the weekends you do cheat days, which I did in the beginning of my weight loss journey, but you're not really forming a new habit. You know, you're starting to change some things, but really to change a new habit, you have to do something consistently for a month. And then you just keep building like a snowball. Tony Gilbert. I just answered that. Thank you, DTN. DTN Professional Window Cleaners. Learn more life lessons on this channel than any show on a TV Real Talk. Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And like I always say, this channel may be a blessing for you at a certain point, and at a certain point you may outgrow me. You know, part of divorce, why does it happen? People just become different people. They grow. You marry someone today, they ain't going to be the same 10 years from now. Your child is 5 years old right now. They love their parents. Guess what? In 10 years, at 15, they ain't going to like their parents. We grow. We change. We have to give each other space to grow. And if one day you turn into my channel and they say, well, I'm not feeling them anymore, I want people to have the freedom to go and be them. True love is freedom. Control and manipulation is the opposite of love. And so I accept, as a YouTube creator, as a leader, as a man, as a person, that some people, many people, will be in my life for a season, not forever. And I don't resentfully want to manipulate and hold on to them for my personal insecurities or my own personal ego. Myself. So like when I talk about like contentious possible issues such as religion, politics, or whatever, and if that's not you and you keep hearing me say the same thing, you got to understand this is who I am. And you either got to accept that or you got to move on. You don't have to accept that as far as how you want to be, but this is how I am, and vice versa. You understand what I'm saying? But I always felt like there was certain times like my pastors, I went to a certain church for like 10 years and they were a blessing to me. I learned a lot and I'm thankful for them. But there was a certain point where I outgrew them. It wasn't because I was better than them, it's just because after 10 years I changed. And I felt like I wanted to change, but I couldn't change there. So like getting away from that church was a hard thing because it was like getting through a divorce. And like they didn't want to fully sever ties. I wanted to sever ties. Not because I didn't love them anymore, but because I had to be me. I'm different. I can't be the same person. I won't be the same person 10 years from now. Either will you. So my whole point is, if this channel is a blessing to you, thank you. Thank you for giving a thumbs up. Thank you for any support. But there is no control. There is no manipulation. If this channel at one time isn't a blessing to you, I want you to go in peace, and I want you to be the best person you can be. That's love. And that's how I feel. Thank you. Sawyer Hunt, and all the people from North Carolina, we call it Boone. It's a Boone. That's the name of the town. And then he gives hashtag Boone Strong. It's a bunch of guys who work for Pepsi that have wild names such as Tom Hanks, Blanton, and cat lady who is unknown, but I think she dates Blanton or some made-up girlfriend that wants to get with me because she thinks I'm wise. But at the end of the day, do I want to get with her? No. Somebody asked me, they often ask me on one of my videos, like, you know, if they just start watching my channel and they watch one of the videos about me living in my car. One guy asked me today, oh, that's great that you live out of your car, but what do you do when you want to meet a girl? Do you go to a hotel? No, I don't go to a hotel. I don't go to her house. I haven't dated in about 2 or 3 years. Why? Because I found life is easier if I just masturbate to relieve my sexual tension and I don't get entangled in relationships. They're too emotionally messy. That's my honest opinion. I could lie to you, but I'm not. I think if you get to a point in life where you know you want to be single, in my opinion, you should do whatever you want. I think you should just masturbate, and then I think you should just avoid emotional entanglement. That's what I think. Jesus said it's better for you to stay single. So did Paul. But now, if you want to be married, there's no restrictions. That's what Paul said. If you ever are really pressed to text someone, if you're really attracted to someone, you're thinking about them, you can't stop thinking about them, this is what I want you to do. I want you to masturbate. Maybe even twice. And then I want to ask yourself, do you really want to text them? I guarantee most people you won't want to text. Not after you masturbate twice. Oh, that's wrong. You can't tell that to the children. You can't tell that to the church. You can't tell that to society. Oh, yeah, then why is divorce rate 50%? Why do people become financially devastated? Because they had unprotected sex and they had children. Now they resent their family and they feel like they destroyed their life. And it would be better if more teachers, if more pastors, if more presidents said, you know what? Instead of having more children and getting married, masturbate twice before you text anyone. That's the truth. Do they want the truth? No, they don't even want universal basic income, but we're going to get it. Okay? Good job. Queen. Hey, how are you? Oh, wait, I skipped somebody. I apologize, Queen. We'll come back to you. Apathy. I'm not skipping you, brother. I appreciate all your comments last night. Apathy. Hey, Sam, how are you? I'm good, brother. How are you? I was going to ask if you ever felt pressure to one-up yourself. Why I addressed that? Because I felt that today. Because last night was a magical night. But I said, Sam, don't try to outdo yourself. Be yourself. And that's what I did. I thank God for that. Through maturity, through failing. And if you ever go on a job interview and you feel like you really want to make a good impression, step back and be yourself. If you're ever on a conference call with your manager and with 5 other executives and you want to say something smart, step back and be yourself. Never try to one-up yourself because you'll lose yourself. What do people say when they end up in a divorce? I lost myself. Don't lose yourself. So thank you. That's a great question. I thought about that too. Queen, are you coloring? Hey, how are you? I'm doing good, but I would be doing even better if you gave me a cat face with a heart, smiley eye emoji. Good job. And a Trent water emoji. Yes, I got it. Snow Dog. I just always sit back and listen, Sam. I speak on things every now and then. I know that, and I want you to be you, brother. You don't ever have to leave a comment. I appreciate people who are willing to be brave enough to leave a comment because it helps the live feed be magical. But I don't want you to ever feel pressured. There's no all right, you have to do an altar call. There's none of that here. What there is we're all just going to be ourselves, all right? And some of it's going to be good, some of it's going to be bad. Some people are going to get blocked, some people are going to get love. It's all that's what life is. But I want you to know, and other people in here, like whether it's DTN, whether it's you, whether it's I think about you. I pray for you guys. Just like I know you guys pray for me. I mean, not like something like, we're best friends as far as I don't want to be disingenuous. But I feel the pain. I hear you. And that's sincere, without pandering. That's all I want to say, okay? Apathy. What do you think about Chris Watts? I don't know him well enough to comment. The 33-year-old Colorado man who, instead of divorcing his wife, he killed her and his two daughters. I don't know him well enough to comment. I don't know that scenario well enough to comment. Obviously, I'm not going to co-sign. It's never worth that. But I understand how people get in the mindset of that. Like, I remember when my dog was dying or getting very sick and I had to put her down. I just remember God showing me, like, I understand how people, and I remember when I was in the hospital and I was thinking about who's going to take care of my dog. I remember when people feel like they're going to be in a bad place themselves, that they want to take their loved ones with them because they're scared to leave them behind to this world. I remember watching a woman who had poor mental health drive a car with her children into the ocean because she was going through so much pain. She didn't want to leave her children behind in this world. Now, as demonic and I don't want to say necessarily demonic, means this is bad mental health. And as horrible as it is, I do not excuse it. You should never do that. I'm not co-signing that. But I'm just trying to say, I understand how the mind can get so dark that you don't want to leave people. You just feel like you can't leave them behind. You want to take everyone with you. I understand it. I don't excuse any violence. But you understand, I'm just trying to build context and not trying to be, I'm not going to try to sit up on a high horse and say, it was a disgrace. There's no excuse for violence. I don't preach violence. But I want to also show that, look, I understand how the mind can get that sick. But that is a sick mind. And I can never excuse it. Antonio. Hello, Sam. What's up, man? How's Florida? It's magical. One of the best decisions I ever made was to move to Florida. Improve my quality of life big time. I said that to somebody today on the phone. It was actually someone in California. I said, what's the weather in California? They said 65. I said, oh, it's a 75 here. And they go, where you at? I said, Florida. They said, oh, okay. I'll never go back to New Jersey only to visit my mom. Unless I became truly financially destitute, then I would do what I need to do if that was my only choice. But moving to Florida changed my quality of life. The environment matters. We talk about that often. What improves your life? Environment? Partly. But for some people, they like the cold environment. So some people like mountains. I like flat land. I like hot. It's very cool. In the winter here in Florida, it's magical. But I like hot summer too. I came here in the height of the summer. I loved it. I love it. So, how are you, brother? Good to see you, Antonio. I watched the replay yesterday. Thank you again, too, for your comments in sport. Murdad, heart emoji. Good to see you, brother. T. Anna Marie. Please don't feel pressure to compete with yourself. Thank you. And anyone. That's right. Good job. I love that you don't pander. Thank you. You are the real deal. Thank you. I'll still let you down, but thank you. Just being authentically you is enough. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. T. Marie, good to see you. Rob. What's up, Sam? What's going on? Hope you're doing well, man. Yeah, overall, I feel good. I'm encouraged that we're going to have off some days next week for work, some extra days because of the holidays, the Christmas holidays or whatever you celebrate. And so that's a little bit encouraging because I got more self-care time, more time to enjoy the outdoors of Florida. Now, if I had off more days in New Jersey, I would be, what am I going to do? Because I can't go outside. Being outside, feeling sunlight, feeling warm weather, it encourages me both physically and mentally and spiritually, and I enjoy it. Damn, I made the right decision coming to Florida. By the grace of God, through hard work. Thank you. Rob, Sam, did you undergo any specialized training or tech school to land your current position? Well, yes, it's all part of a career that built up over 22 years. I went to a 5-year apprenticeship to be an electrician. I went to school at night for 5 years, and I worked 40 to 50 hours per week for 5 years. So at school at night for 5 years and working in a certain program. Then I got my journeyman certificate. Then I studied for 3 years. I failed the master electrical contractor's license for New Jersey. I failed the test 3 times. Finally passed. Okay. A lot of perseverance there because every time you fail the licensed master electrician test in New Jersey, you have to wait 6 months till you can take it again. The good news is, at least it was at that time, you only have to take the part that you failed. So there's 3 parts of the master license electrical contracting test. There's business law, where you decide what's a sole proprietorship, what's an LLC, what's an S corporation. You have to understand business law because you're getting ready to start a business. That's one part of the exam. The other part is electrical code. You have to understand, obviously, the electrical code as far as grounding, wire size, all the different things. And then the third part of it was fire safety. There's a separate fire code. Okay, it's a 3-part system. Took me about 3 years to pass. And it was very painful, and I got very discouraged. But I kept going. Keep showing up. So then after 8 years of that, I started my own business. I had my own business for about 2 years. while I worked a regular job at night. I worked a night shift maintenance technician for an IT company, and then I started my own company during the day and almost burnt myself out. And then I moved up to a lead position in an IT firm to be like an on-site electrical like staff engineer. And then over the course of 10 years, building my career, having certain credentials and certain engineer degrees and certain credits, I applied for, a couple of years ago, I applied for internal transfer for even another step up, and I failed. I got rejected. But the 5 executives that I had the interview with, one called me up, who eventually became to move up in the company. He said, Sam, you're not going to get the position, but I want you to know that you really represented yourself well. And if another position comes up, I will keep you in mind. And that allowed me to plant seed, to build my, you're selling yourself in a free market. And not just selling yourself as far as like trying to pull something over on people, you're representing yourself. And so last year, another position came on for a management position, different type, but management. And so I applied. It took me 4.5 months to get it. But partly of it was, I know, because over the course of time, I proved myself. I showed up during Hurricane Sandy. I stayed at the job for 7 days straight. Okay. And many other examples like that throughout the course of like Nor'easter. I was there when the company needed me. Over the course of 10 years, I proved myself. And that now in another position came, and I failed even though I tried to move up. And then eventually, last year, I got a position and I was able to get one of the positions that was open. And that's what allowed me to finally move down to Florida and work remotely. Can that change tomorrow? Yeah, I've been laid off on Christmas Eve. Not from this company, but in the beginning of my career, I was laid off, and you can go from making great money to no money. That's why I do YouTube. As one is, it's obviously, you can see it's my passion. It's what I really love to do, but it's not a sustainable income. So I have to, just like I did when I had my own company, I have to do what really pays the bills. That's why I monetize this. That's why I do this. I would love this to be my full-time job, but I would never put the burden of my gift on that. Because if I do that, then I can be authentically myself because I work for my living. This is extra, and if this can sustain itself, that's great. But my credibility comes from I've always worked, and that's how I really feed myself. This is just extra. And I would love for this to be one day part of the full equation, but that shows my life, and that shows my career advancement. You get the grace of God along the way, but it comes also through hard work, combination, and it comes from the ability of I'm a communicator. I know how to represent myself well. That helps. And, that's what it is. But what I can tell you is many people had the same opportunity as me. I've even gotten people the same opportunities as me. There's some friends that I got jobs, great jobs, and they didn't follow through with them. They didn't show up. They got the job. They stopped showing up. What's my number one piece of career advice I can give to anyone, whether you work at Starbucks or whether you work at a Wall Street company? Show up. Show up, have a positive attitude, and just try your best. Be yourself. If you can do those things consistently, I can't guarantee you like you're going to be a millionaire, but I can guarantee you're going to have an overall good career. Most people won't even show up consistently. But it's hard. It's mentally painful. The hardest part about work is mental. It's like just in the morning having the mental pressure of knowing you have to show up. I think a simplified life, living below your means, helps that. I think you'll become maybe a better worker. So that's a little bit of my career. Good job, Stephen. Marriage is for, okay. Chad. Paul said in the Bible that God gives the gift of marriage to one and the gift of singleness to another. Yes, and then he goes on in the book of Corinthians chapter 7 to say that it's better to stay single, but I don't want to put any restrictions on you. I want you to do whatever you feel will help you serve the Lord the best. Okay? And he said this isn't a command from God, just like he said many things in the New Testament. He wrote most of it. He wrote 2/3 of it. He said many things. These aren't a command from God. These are just my own opinions. Basically, I'm paraphrasing. So he even says that this isn't so some of the stuff he was saying was just his opinion. Some people take everything in the Bible has to be literal, and it has to be a command from God. It isn't. He also said that women shouldn't speak in the church. He also said that slaves should obey their slave master. So does that mean the Bible's wrong? No, the Bible's a blessing. Some of it changed my life, but that means that you don't take everything literally, and that's also some things I don't agree with. So you put everything in context, and then you realize that Paul himself, he used to be a murderer. He was a murderer, he was an oppressor, and so everyone changes. So Paul wasn't the same person. Paul used to be a real religious freak, real into like his religion. He used to persecute the beginning followers of Christ. Then he changed. So you may marry someone, they're real into porn, they got a dildo, they got a vibrator, you're over there, you're having wild sex, and then 10 years later, they're a foodie. They don't want to have sex. They want to go buy cute outfits for the kids, and they don't want time for you. Can you accept that? People change. One minute they're a murderer, the next minute they're writing 2/3 of the new Bible. Can you accept that? Maybe not. But that's life. Good job. Chad, took me 35 years to realize I got the gift of singleness. Well, praise the Lord, says the choir. Good job. Melissa, hey everyone. Annie G. Hey Sammy. Hey everyone, hope your day's been good, man. Yes, Annie J, always good to see you, Andy G. I see you, I think about you also, and I love you. Glenn O. And Chad. I never heard that before. Interesting. Well, I just also broke that down, Glenn O. Don't let them get you too wild up. Melissa, I don't think I'll ever get married. Well, nothing wrong with that. Tiana Marie. I am both a child of divorce and a divorced mother. Well, you got a good perspective. Let's hear what she got to say. I stayed married as long as I did in effort to prevent my children from experiencing the devastation that would surely follow. So she stayed married for the children's sake. And my mom tried, and I see many people try to at least 18. But if you are suppressing your joy, your kids sense it. If I come in here, you sense my passion. Like, I don't have to tell you, like, this is my gift and I'm excited about YouTube. You could tell. Like, you don't have to look at some people and say, look, they're pandering. You could tell. You could tell, like, Hillary Clinton was a pander when she went in the Breakfast Club and she had hot sauce in her pocketbook. And that's how she lost the election, partly. You can tell when people are faking it. And if you're faking it, get the hell out of there. Don't wait till your kids are 18. That's my opinion. That's my experience. Good job. Jason, love your stuff, brother. Jason, thank you. Maria, hello. Divorce is tough. It is. DTN, took me over 2 years to heal of my divorce. DTN, thank you for sharing that, brother. 2 years. It took DTN professional window cleaners to heal. There's a testimony. How long does it take to heal? For him, 2 years. Lesson, good job. Forgive me if I said the name wrong. Arnu, hello. Hey, Arnu, good to see you. George, love on the rocks, 21 years together. Let her stay home for 19 years now. She has to work to help me because what happened to me now, she hates me for it, my own fault. Okay. Well, thank you for sharing, George. I don't need to add to that. That's your experience, and I hear your pain, and I hear that. I love you, man. Thank you for sharing. Pack Live. We got Los Angeles or San Francisco or the Bay Area. North California is in the house. It's a little bit earlier in North Carolina. Right now, North California. It's 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as I say that. For Pack Live, it's 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, when do I go live on this channel? Usually between, where in Florida are you? I could tell you that. I don't want the MILFs coming to my campground. I would just say Florida. I got to keep some privacy. Why? Because that's wisdom. That's wisdom. Some things you have to keep private. I like to be as upfront as possible, but I also have to remember that some things I have to keep private because there's no really reason to say that, but I understand the question. Tana Marie, I'll just keep going. Tana Marie, divorce was the right decision, but I was distraught during the 2-year separation and totally devastated once the divorce was final for another 2 years. I had unbearable grief over the loss of family. Excellent comment, Tiana Marie. She basically said 4 years. 4 years for her to heal. That's how I heard it. Thank you for sharing. And I like the word she said, loss of a family. I remember dating a woman, and I used to ask her about her divorce, and she said, Sam, I don't want to talk about my divorce too much because it brings up what I feel is failure. It brings up loss. I had to grieve the death of my family, of my marriage. I don't want to talk about it too much. And I understand that. Scott Beeman. It took a couple years, he's talking about to heal from a divorce. It seems like the worst thing at first, but I was glad it happened. It's complicated and harder when kids are involved. Scott, great comment. So it basically took him about a couple years, 2 years for Scott to heal. Gleno, video froze up. Yeah, if it freezes up, sorry about that. Just refresh or re-click on it. That's what I had to do because I watch myself on my YouTube, on my laptop here. But I try to keep it going as best I can. Air Mob. Professor, what's going on? Air Mob. Good to see you, brother. Maria, yes, it has. Thank you. Joe Boss, is that the world emoji? Peace emoji. Thumbs up. Sam, word. Thank you, Joe Boss. Love and respect. Right back to you. It's reciprocal. It's even. It's back at you. That's what I like. Good job. Gleno. The froze up emoji. Good job, Gleno. Love and respect to the Shih Tzus. Scott Beeman. It's been 12 years, and I have not seen her since. Talking about his ex-wife. Well, I think that's wisdom. Sometimes. Myself or the kids. Best thing happened to us. I think there's certain relationships that you should not keep contact with. So, I think that's wisdom sometimes. I do. Joyrod just showed up right there. Good to see you, Joyrod. Thank you, too. I don't think I got to you last night, but I saw you in the live comments, so I want to acknowledge you. I want to show you you're appreciated. Thank you, brother. Tamarie. Oh, man, we missed what you said when the video froze. Well, I don't remember what part I was at, and I'm sorry about that. So I don't want to fake it. I just could only pray for that. Sorry about that, Tony. Problems are like washing machines. This us in the spin and knock us around, but we come out cleaner. That's interesting. Brighter and better than before. Well, that's interesting. Great comment. Yeah, I mean, problems are like a washing machine. It's a little bit messy and get knocked around, but we do come out cleaner. That's a good comment. Marcus, good to see you. I'm starting to go and live in my car in February 2019, and I'm nervous as hell. That's understandable. Can you have a driver's license with a UPS store? You could. In Florida, it all depends on your state and your laws. You have to research your state and your laws. So I'm not a lawyer, okay? And then you also have to have certain legal documentation to take to the UPS store and to take to the DMV. And in some states, like Florida, you can say that you're homeless. You can get a driver's license and say that you're homeless. So you're going to have to investigate your state. You're going to have to bring the certain legal documents to the UPS store and to the DMV. I'm not going to tell people what to do. That's a little bit of a personal decision, but it can be done. And if you can't do it that way, there's RV mailing services. You can use, a friend's house. I mean, there's somebody you're going to stay with most of the time. I'm not a lawyer, but it can be done. Woohoo, Sam. You should have a meetup in Florida. Now, I like to be by myself. I respectfully ask if you ever see me in the street, please don't approach me. If you are going to approach me, just approach me with caution, because that's just how I am. Like, I don't like to, I'm honest with you. I can lie to you. I love people. I'm very thankful for the support, but I like to be alone. I don't even spend time with a lot of friends and family. I have people down here in Florida I know I've been through some real stuff in life with. Like, if I don't see them, I don't necessarily want to see somebody like I just met. I mean, not because it's disrespect, it's because that's how I am. And I want people to respect that as I respect you. So, like, right, if we're really friends, like you respect it, I like to be by myself. And I like YouTube because it's a level of connection without the commitment. Now, I'm not going to say like I'm going to be rude to people, but this is who I am. And so, again, like every good relationship is like you accept me, I accept you. You don't try to force it. You don't try to make me get in shape and I want to be a foodie. You understand what I'm saying? So, like, that evenly acceptance is wisdom. Gleno at Marcus, just give them your last physical address, might require a piece of mail. Lagnar, hey, what's up, Lagnar? Gleno at Marcus, just show your registration. That's all it needs. Gleno, car registration, just reading his comments. Gilbert, old girlfriend called me, and everything that came out of her mouth was negative. Oh, why does she even have your number, brother? Change your number, man. Instead of getting upset with her conversation, I actually felt sorry for her. Shouldn't do that. That's a manipulation. But happy I am no longer with her. I'm glad you got confirmation, brother. I'm glad. Because you're a good brother. You don't need to get caught back in that drama. Sometimes you need to know that you made the right decision. When did you make the right decision? When there's a spiteful person? Like, I don't like to block people, but once in a while I block people. And then when they come back with spite, I realize, well, I made the right decision. Because, like, anyone that truly loves me, then why are you spiteful? So that's one. But I always say, like, if you're really ready to change your life, I can't say this will apply to every relationship, but you have, sometimes you have to change your number and give it to just a few people. Good job. Lagnar, if you find me with your wife, will you tuck me in? Well, I ain't getting married, so I don't care whose wife you're with. It ain't gonna be mine. Marcus. Car registration of last physical address. That's his opinion. Zelda. Hey, Zelda. Hey, Sam. Good to see you doing well. Thank you. Continue to take care of yourself. And be happy your way. I will. I'll masturbate every time I want to. That's part of a healthy single life. Why do people get married? Lust. Why do people have children? Lust. Few people have children because they really, and a family because they want. Most people get married because of lust. That's the truth. You know, and the next thing you know, Stormy Daniels comes in the room and, you know, you bang her. And then you got to pay your lawyer off, and then you're in basically going to get impeached for it. Why? Because of lust. You should have masturbated before you got with Stormy Daniels. You should have masturbated before you text back that person that you like. That's the truth. People don't want to preach the truth. And then when people got 2 kids and they got to get divorced, they say, Sam, what should I do? I'm totally devastated. I say you should have masturbated, but you can't go backwards. You can't cry over spilled milk. But learn this lesson if you're out there. If you are ever tempted to text someone or call someone, you're getting lonely, I want you to masturbate first. There's nothing wrong with masturbation. It's a healthy exercise of releasing sexual tension. As long as you're not doing it in public or, you know, anything like that, come on, don't get crazy. This is good advice. Some people won't take that, but happy holidays. Happy holidays and enjoy. I will. Thank you. Have a good night. Zelda, I love you. Lagnar. Oh, the cat emoji with the eye face. Thank you. Lagnar. Digital Church. Thanks, Father Sam. Well, love and respect. Thank you. Gleno at Marcus. If your car registration is a physical address, that's all you need, he's saying. A license, P.O. Box for mail. That's what Glenn's saying. Calvin. Hey, Sam. How is it going? I'm doing the nomad thing and I'm liking it. Well, Calvin, love to you. Congratulations. Thank you for adding the comment. I see you, brother, and I continue success for you. Thank you. Lagnar. My ex-girlfriend committed suicide. I'm sorry to hear that. I know a couple people that did. Thank God she trusted me with her daughter. Well, all right. Love and respect. That's all I can say. Zelda. And then she get the wild, like, tongue out laughing. And then it's a whale emoji with a rain emoji. And best I could do. I'll take that. I'll take an emoji. I'll take a thumbs up on a video. I'll take a share. Thank you. I appreciate that. Zelda, to your support, to your love, and to you being yourself. Whale emoji, back to you. Good job. Air mob's lasting just twice. Then no need for sending that text. Try it. I guarantee you. 100 agree emoji. Right on, brother. Praise the Lord, says the choir. Good job. Male sexual desires makes the world go round. Yeah, and it also makes for a lot of divorces. 50% rate of divorce. 50%. Okay? You got a better shot at Shaq making a 3-throw than you do staying in a marriage. Remember Shaq, Shaquille O'Neal, famous basketball player, one of the greatest centers ever to play. I think he had like a percentage of 60% on the 3-throw line. And I know so, like, you think about it. Would you put your life on the line with Shaq making a 3-throw? That's what you're doing when you get a divorce. You're saying, Shaq is better at this than me. It's a disaster. It's a disaster. But do whatever you want. Male sexual, they don't want guys to apply this convenient outlet instead of chasing tail 24/7. I totally agree. Look at what happened with the episode of Seinfeld. George stopped having sex and he became one of the most intelligent men until he met the Brazilian cleaning lady, and then he had sex with her and he became dumb again. If you harness that energy and you control yourself, and that's what the Bible means, if you can control your lust. Was Paul masturbating? Well, I think he may have been. Now, is that sacrilegious? No, Paul was a murderer. So, what's sacrilegious is you taking everything that he said that came from God. When he said clearly, some of this don't come from God, it comes from my opinion. That's sacrilegious. So I do think that Paul probably was masturbating. That's my opinion. So what do I say in the book of Sammy? I'm not saying this is a commandment from God, but what I'm saying in my experience, masturbate twice. Masturbate twice. Yes, good job. Somebody give me a masturbation emoji. Some people don't like that, but that'll save your life. Lagnar. Lagnar, damn. You said damn. Okay. Chris Watts was cheating on his wife. Okay. Many people, including myself, can't understand why. He just didn't divorce. Sad human tragedy. Well, we can't let go. We want everything. Like I've often given the equation of the dog. It's greed. And sometimes it's greed, emotional greed. It's not just financial greed, it's emotional greed. Human nature. You gotta be very careful. Lagnar at apathy. New energy, talk with your partner. Okay. Lagnar, thumbs up. Lagnar, thanks. George. Sam, have you ever thought about running for politics? Only one problem. You're too honest. Good night. Well, I appreciate that. I mean, I think Trump broke some of the political correctness, but I think he's too far the other way. There's a guy I like running for 2020 named Andrew Yang. Andrew Yang. He believes in universal basic income. He's a very smart, intelligent person that used to be a CEO. My only concern with him is he's too data driven and he doesn't understand human emotion. Society has two parts. It's data, it's science, and then there's human emotion. If you think you can appeal to the masses by just giving them data and reason, you're wrong. You have to fire up the people and you have to understand human emotion and passion. If you just give data, if you just give law, no one's going to listen. But you can't fake passion, and that's my only concern with him. Now, would I ever run for office? Possible, but it's not on my list. Maybe way down the road it'd be on my list. But maybe in 2020. Maybe occasionally frolic with a MILF, but I probably just masturbate. And then will I run for office? I don't know. We'll see. Apathy. Too bad you don't want to run for office. We'll see. You never know. Lagnar. At George. And then he gave some type of purple emoji. Lagnar. Winking emoji. Apathy. Lagnar. I don't get your comment, but God bless. Apathy? That's a great comment. Good job. Charlotte. Hey, Charlotte. Enjoying your channel. Well, thank you. Witty and insightful and loving every minute of your chats. Well, Charlotte, thumbs up to you and thank you. Live and let live. You're back. I can't believe it. Go, our fellow Floridian. Good evening, Sam and all. Live and let live. See, that's what happens. Like, people change. Live and let live. I didn't see probably in months, weeks. She's changed. Maybe for the worse, maybe for the best. I don't know. Your partner changes. People change. Best friends become strangers. Wives and husbands become from best life partners to the person you resent the most in this world. How should you deal with it? Acceptance. 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 Let go. Let go. Heal. How long will it take? Years. But one day at a time. Good job. Lagnar, at apathy. Be honest with your partner after years. Try some partner change. Sexy things could be happen. Whatever works for you. Lagnar, live and let live. Holla. Apathy. I hear that, Lagnar. Lagnar, okay, thanks. Apathy. Hillary did a pander, but Trump is into sexual assaulting women. I think assaulting women is worse. He still got in. Well, Clinton, but they tried to pull that card on Trump. But Trump really won the night of the second debate when he brought like the 5 women that accused Bill Clinton of molestation or whatever. And that's how Hillary lost. Because Hillary got on her high horse and she started to say like Trump was this sodomizer when her husband was, and she covered it up. So the bottom line is, let he who has no sin cast the first stone. But they were both screwed up. I still voted for Hillary because I still believe in overall the policies of that. The majority of U.S. citizens voted for Hillary. She won the popular vote. Trump won the electoral vote. Just like in Al Gore. Al Gore beat George Bush Jr. He won the popular vote, but George Bush won the electoral vote. Trump knows how to play a system. But the bottom line is, look, it is what it is. It's going to make our country better. Because just like one of our brothers said, sometimes things have to get worse. You have to get put in the washer, it gets messy, gets spun around, but you come cleaner. Our country will come out better. Society will come out better. Some things were good that are broken, some political correctness, some plain talk, that's good. I know plenty of people that voted for Trump and they say, Sam, I know he's a scumbag. I'm just trying to do the same old mantra. I didn't agree with it, but I understand it. We will come out better as a country, as a society, as a world, as humanity. We will. We will. And we'll learn the lessons from it. We'll go forward. Queen, I try to make the best of my life too. Queen, that's why I like you. Good job. Dude from the neighborhood. Divorce can be a relief. I use that word and I totally agree with that word. Just like when you stop gambling, it's a relief. Just like many criminals say, as they spent years on the run, it was a relief to get caught. But after the relief of getting caught, there is consequences. So in my opinion, I think initially when you're getting a divorce, it's going to be relief. Then you're going to feel pain of consequences because you're going to go through the settlement. You're going to have to pay out your butt maybe. And you're going to have the devastation. And then you're going to have to go through adapting and taking time to heal and letting each other do it their own way. You have to let your children do it their way. You have to do it your way. And maybe everyone will sync up. Maybe they won't. All that's okay. Just do your best. And obviously, everyone's situation is different. Again, my father tried his best. He tried to stay around, do what he could. He did. So did my mom. And as a mature child, as a young adult, I had to do this thing. I didn't blame my father, and I didn't blame my mother. So children, if you are a child of divorce, you eventually have to, you can't blame anyone. You got to stop fucking going to psychiatry class and blaming your father and your mother that, you didn't straighten out your life. They may have played a part, but you're an adult now. And so, even if you get universal basic income, you got to eventually, also self-care it is. I mean, look, you got to take care of yourself and you got to be good to yourself. Good job. D-Chas. Born in lust, turn to dust. Everyone lusts. Look, lust, there's nothing wrong with lust. Paul said, if you can control your lust, he didn't say eliminate your lust. Lust and sexuality is part of human nature. It should not be shamed. That's why many times people were oppressed when they were in religion because they were shamed that there's something wrong with lust. There is nothing wrong with lust. It's uncontrolled lust. And if you're never going to ejaculate, you're going to be fucked up physically, mentally, and spiritually. So you better get used to the word ejaculation and masturbation. And, you're not, you got to be an adult about this. And you got to control your lust, but that's part of life. And don't acknowledge it. Good job. Lagnar. Haha, Stormy D. Yeah. Apathy. Hey, Tom. Tam. Dude from neighborhood. Hello. Dude from neighborhood. Hello to you. Lagnar. At Queen. Queen, how are you doing? Lagnar. Okay. And you? Queen. I'm great. Thanks. Lagnar. Per emoji. Brazilian Portuguese. Hey, what's up? What'd I miss? I can't repeat it. You can watch the replay anytime you want, but hello to you. Hope you had a great day. Lagnar. Winking. Chad. Sam. What are you going to do when you grow an audience so big that you can't go every message? Well, that happened to me last night for one of the first times ever, but I'm not going to assume that's going to happen. It may happen, it may not. I'm comfortable with it either way, and I'm thankful for the 48 people in here now, thankful for the 19 likes. I hope it does grow. I will try, so what do I try to do? I won't try to outdo myself. I'll just be myself. I won't try to outdo myself, I'll be myself. And wherever that channel ends up, wherever I leave on the live comments, I'll do the best I can. When you feel like you're putting too much pressure on yourself and you feel like you're getting too big, what should you do? Just step back and be yourself. And I think if you look back at all my videos, I got 1,000+ videos. I've grown, I've evolved, but I've pretty much been who I am. So I'm going to try to read each comment. I can't guarantee it, but I may not necessarily grow, but I hope I do grow. So I'm just going to take life one day at a time, and I'm thankful for the support, and thank you, Chad. Laughing. Book of Samuel. I'd read that. Well, Samuel had a chapter. I remember when I first started really seeking my spirituality, that's when I learned that, my real full name is Samuel. And Samuel is in the Old Testament, the book of Samuel. The people were basically free, but they begged Samuel, who was a judge, they begged him to appoint a king because they wanted someone to tell them what to do. They wanted someone to rule over them. And Samuel said, look, you don't want a king, you want to be free. But they said, no, we want a king. And they eventually got one. What I could tell you is this. We all have a book inside of us. Just like Paul said, some of this in direct command from God. It's my own experience. God lives inside you. If the scriptures teach that God lives inside you, if Jesus said, why do you crucify me if I say I'm God? Because even the Old Testament said you are gods. If God lives inside you, what's wrong with speaking some scriptural stuff on how you view life? Nothing. Nothing. But you also have to remember you're human. You're going to sometimes not treat your dog the best way. You're not going to treat your coworkers the best way, your family. You are human. God lives inside you and you can breathe the inspiration of God, but you can also be humbled in a moment. God lives inside you and you're human. And if you can remember both of those things, you're going to be fine. May West, Brooklyn's in the house. Hey, Sam. Lagnar at Chad. Scripts are not hard to write, and I cannot comment to give you a space. Okay, thank you. Queen, I'm sorry to hear that. Queen, I'm glad that you are here. Well, Queen, Trenta, ice water emoji to everyone. Good job. Lagnar, at me. FYI, there was a lag. Yeah, sometimes I see that tonight. We're getting that. Sorry about that. Apathy. Video is freezing up, Sammy, every once in a while. I'm sorry. I'll try to get better Wi-Fi position tomorrow night. Thank you. Yours. I'm 41, never been married, and thought it sounds horrifying. Well, it's a 50% failure rate. But starting your own business is like an 80% failure rate. Most things in life are high failure rate. So does that mean you shouldn't get married? No, but that means you should be honest about what you're getting into. You shouldn't be getting into it for lust, because you're going to change, your spouse is going to change, and you can't have children for selfish reasons. You can't have children because you want cute clothes. You have to have children because you're ready to sacrifice, and you're ready to accept the fact that raising children is hard. But all of us been young, and so if it came out of lust, it came out of lust. You can't cry over spilt milk. Should you get married? It's your decision. I think if you can control your lust, if you don't want a family, you're better off to stay single. That's my opinion. Everyone should do what they want. Gleno, the video is out of whack tonight. I'll check back tomorrow. Well, thank you. That frustrates me as well. But if you do refresh it, if you do click back on it, it unfreezes. But it does frustrate me, but there's nothing I can do now. I can't cry over spilt milk. It's like me banging out a girl and then masturbate and then coming inside of her. We're going to have a child. I can't cry over spilt milk now. I should have masturbated, but I didn't. The video froze up. I wish I was in a better Wi-Fi spot, but I can't go backwards in life. You have to accept that, and then you got to go forward. Good job. Brazilian, you still live in your car, and what do you do to stay warm? Well, I moved to Florida, but 2 years I live in New Jersey. You layer up and you buy a sleeping blanket, and you still freeze your ass off. I got very sick last year. I'm still living in my car. It's 2.5 years, but I recently moved down to Florida a few months back. Good job. Lagnar. Hey, Glenn. Queen. I don't like negativity either. Queen, me and you on the same page. Freedom Chaser 40. Hey, Sam. Watching from Central Jersey. Love and respect, Central Jersey. Glad you're doing well and living your best life. Freedom. Love and respect to Central Jersey. Love and respect. Queen. It gives off nothing but bad vibes. Yeah, we don't want negative energy. Lagnar. I just share the lag for the others, so you know it's not your connection. Well, thank you. That does matter, and I appreciate you guys giving me feedback. So if it ever does lag or stuff, please let me know, because at least I'm conscious of the fact. Joe Boss. Good night, Sam, and all. Peace to you, bro. Lagnar. Hey, Joe Boss. Lagnar's laughing. All right, well, I read every comment, and we're over an hour. Usually that's the average of a live stream, about an hour. Again, I go live every night around 7 p.m., 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but it can change at any time. If you're subscribed, you'll get notified. I appreciate everyone doing. Queen, the things that change, people, places, and things, everything changes. Life is constant change. Time is like a river. You can't touch the same spot twice, so make the most of each moment. Carpe diem, seize the moment. And thank you, Lagnar, for saying the connection is awesome now. And just make the most of your life. And let's just leave it at that. And I'm thankful for each one of you. I hope you live your best life, best you can. If you fall, you get back up, but you can't cry over spilt milk. You can't cry. I mean, you can cry. It's okay to cry. But you just got to go forward in life. Not easy. I understand that. It may take a couple years to heal. And your kids may never speak to you again. But they may. They may not. I don't have all the answers. All I can do is share my life, not try to outdo myself, and be myself. And I think if you do that with your life, you're going to be fine. Lagnar, thank you. Peace be with you also. Apathy, peace be with you.